Oh my God. So much to talk about. Let's go.
This show is so great. Okay, first up, we have a tale of two companies big time, a tale of two pandemic darlings with two very different quarterly outcomes.
Peloton is basically on the precipice of, just being incinerated. And then Snowflake is firing on all cylinders. Our guy, Slootman, is just an absolute beast.
Yeah, Slootman, he's the flamethrower right now.
A beast. So he's like the Hulk of SaaS. Hulk Smash. That's his new nickname.
Really?
The Hulk I want a t-shirt with Slootman as the Hulk. I think I might J-trade some snow.
It's amazing. I don't think that's a terrible idea. But don't trade
I'm trading on emotion.
Take a deep breath.
My best trades.
Count to 10. Then we're going to have Lon. And speaking of more drama, we got our guy Lon Harris back on the show for This Week in Streaming. And there's a lot to talk about there too.
Yes, House of Dragon is out and it set a massive record. Additionally, we play Stump Lon Harris, where Molly and I tell him our favorite shows because we're both into the sci-fi fantasy kind of thing. And then he tells us what to watch next. And Molly and I, our cues runneth over. Stick with us. It's going to be a great show.
This Week in Startups is brought to you by Odoo is a fully customizable and fully integrated suite of business apps that lets you build and scale your stack as you build and scale your business. Your first app is free forever, and right now Odoo is offering $1,000 off your first implementation pack at odoo.com/twist. That's odoo.com/twist. OpenPhone. As a startup founder, a lot of mistakes are easy to roll back, but using your personal cell phone number as your company number isn't one of them. OpenPhone makes it easy to get business phone numbers for you and your team, right on top of your existing devices. Visit openphone.com/twist to get 20% off your first 6 months. And lemon.io. Need to speed up your product development without draining your budget? Hire vetted engineers from Europe at lemon.io. Go to lemon.io/twist to get 15% off for the first 4 weeks.
All right, Molly, it's Thursday. That means we'll have This Week in Streaming with our friend Lon Harris. He got so many great suggestions. We're going to talk about the Dragons, HBO, General Zaslav, or as I call him, General Zod, like from Superman fame. Superman 2, the best Superman film ever.
Best metaphor. Like that is
perfect.
And all I will ever see in my head when I think of him from now on.
The son of Jor-El. I love Zod. Neo before Zod. But we've been wondering what's going to happen.
Yeah.
With my Pelly Pal. Not Pellegrino, Peloton.
Yeah.
I love my Peloton. I would like to invest in that company, but I never have. What's happened? It's looking grim.
Well, kiddo, you're not going to know. Let me tell you. Peloton reported earnings for its fiscal Q4. The results were not good. Stock was down over 20% on Thursday right after the earnings report. Peloton's market cap is now $3.7 billion. Here are some notable numbers. Q4 cash, $1.2 billion. Q4 inventories, $1.1 billion, meaning that Peloton is currently sitting on over $1 billion worth of unsold inventory. And I'm just going to say, I know that when you're running out of money, you raise prices. That seems reasonable. But like, I would have helped him out with that inventory problem. And then boom, price range. And I'm like, I can't do it. Come on, you're killing me. Q4 accounts payable, $797 million. Q4 revenue, $679 million. That was down 28% year over year and down 30% quarter over quarter. Q4 subscription revenue, $383 million. That's 56% of its total. That at least is up 4% quarter over quarter and up 36%.
They raised the prices 10%. Yeah. So
they raised the prices 10%. I mean, I think this is where like roll up that inventory and make it a subscription. Just do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't bring in cash fast enough. Maybe. I don't really know. Q4 paid subscribers about 3 million.
Up 27% year over year.
27% year over year, though. Yeah. So
that's
people
nice. They got more subscribers. Yeah, people are still subscribing, which is great. That means they may be buying their own hardware as well and subscribing.
I guess so. Or maybe resubscribing, like maybe they, I don't know, let it go. It's interesting, though. CEO Barry McCarthy is, and in the words of producer Nick, fighting for his life here. He told this story in his letter to shareholders. He wrote, quote, In high school, I spent 3 summer months working on a cargo ship. After midnight on my second voyage, I was asleep when the alarm for general quarters woke me. My reporting station was on the bridge. Fear is a great motivator. I dressed while I ran. The 720-foot ship was doing 27 knots, and the helm was hard a lee. This is a shareholder letter, by the way.
Is this from Masayoshi-san?
Quick
or is
reminder.
this from
Yeah.
Peloton?
Right? Like you
Holy
really should. Can you pull up?
Where is this story going? I mean, do they wind up in the water with 1,000 sharks?
Stay with me. The ship was heeling sharply to starboard, and the steel hull was shuddering. The captain was trying to turn the ship around, but a ship that big going that fast takes miles and miles to change direction. We saved 2 men's lives that night. They'd been lost at sea in the Mediterranean for several days. A fortunate, happy ending. Peloton is like that cargo ship. We've sounded the alarm for general quarters. Everyone's at their station. We continue to add new inputs to evolve our go-to-market strategy to restore growth. When will the ship respond is the question. Our goal is fiscal year 2023.
In a time when men
It's like the perfect
control
storm.
the open seas.
Oh,
I mean, it
goodness.
just sounds
You
like an
don't wanna
action
laugh,
film.
but-
At a
and we
time
tried.
when people couldn't leave their homes and go to the gym, one hero created a
Will emerge.
bike with an iPad. They are
We didn't see that iceberg coming, nor did we see the end of the
Believe
pandemic.
that.
We didn't see it. I mean, Barry wasn't there then. It's not.
no.
100%.
Barry's the cleanup guy, and he is like,
He's
how
effed.
bad is this gonna get?
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't want to say this because it's going to wind up
Ship is
being
hard
an
to leave.
incredibly long bleep. But holy, sorry for the long bleeps, but
Yeah.
this is not good. They
No.
have. This is where, remember, I was thinking about buying the stock. I was going to J trade this, but then I was like, maybe I should buy the bonds because the bonds are senior to the equity. So looking at this, they're running out of cash fast. The inventory, 1.1 billion in inventory, that's worth like 200 million. Just
Yep.
discount that all the way down to 20%. Okay, so you got 200 million in inventory. Best case, my estimation.
Look at
They
this
got to
Q4
pay.
net
They got
loss.
accounts payable of $800 million, and they've only
look
got
at that net
1.2
loss.
billion in cash. So if they were to pay down their accounts payable, they're sitting on 400 million in cash, but their free cash flow went negative 411 million in this quarter. Are they 1 quarter away from flipping the car? The boat's going to sink in a quarter or two?
I mean, I
Is
think
that what this is
that's
saying?
where I feel like that's where they were the last time we talked about this, and
They were
nothing
1
has
quarter
changed
away.
so far.
Yeah.
Q4 net loss of $1.2 billion and Q4 free cash flow negative $411 million.
This is a disaster. I have to say, like, this is not looking good. When we talk, I've talked about this many times. This is my third big war. Like I made it through World War I and World War II of like economic craziness.
business.
I don't want to have business like .com and Great Recession. Okay, I don't know if this is Vietnam, the Korean War, or World War III that we're going through right now. In terms of the metaphor, sorry for the war metaphors, but it's I'm a guy and toxic masculinity, whatever. This is serious. Like in war, people die, like boats sink, and this is a sinking boat. Like this is tragic.
It's hard to lee, if you will, in the words of Barry McCarthy. Yeah,
I had to look up Ali.
I've never heard that phrase in my entire
Hard
life.
Ali. This guy's dropping like maritime buzzwords on us.
I mean, you really do hate to see it, and he was handed a bad hand, right? Like dealt a bad hand. This is a rough situation for him to have had to walk into. I don't know how
Hard
you.
Ali.
I wonder why no one has acquired Peloton yet. But if not, this feels like the quarter to do it. Except that maybe even they are like,
You got to think they're talking to people. Like, how do we get out of this
They
mess?
gotta
And
be.
the easiest thing to get out of this mess would be for somebody to buy the asset and, put it into a stronger, and they could probably get the asset, for close to free, and you get 3 million subscribers. Pretty great. This
Right.
is
you have
maybe,
subscribers. The brand has a ton of value. Like, where's Amazon here?
well, with this Lena Khan, anti-conglomerate thing, I think you take a lot of the big, and I'm not saying I'm against that. You're taking a lot of the big acquirers out of the mix. So, Google, Apple, Amazon are like, if we're going to go to bat on buying something, maybe we shouldn't go to bat on Peloton. And this is where like I think they said the general rubric here is companies with over $500 billion market caps or like monopoly positions are the ones who are going to be the most stringent. So who does that leave? Okay, the $100-200 billion crowd. It's not a lot of people there. This is a challenge.
They did just enter into an e-commerce partnership to sell
on Amazon.
Pelotons on Amazon.
Well, duh. That's where the consumers are.
Duh. Right. Exactly.
I mean, the idea that you could avoid Amazon in today's day and age as a retailer, like this is a fantasy.
Yeah.
That people who are, had tons of venture money, kind of believe they could go direct and, capture all that margin. And then it turns out, sometimes you need distribution. So I like Magic Spoon. We had them on the pod, that protein cereal. Magic Spoon is on Amazon. So you don't have to buy a subscription. It's a hell of a lot. I think it's $15, $16 a box. And then I noticed they have a competitor now. So this is what happens. Like you get forced to go on Amazon where the Prime customers are.
Yeah.
But then what you'll see on Magic Spoon, if you look at related products, and so, I wanted to buy Magic Spoon, but I don't like opening another account and dealing with that. But then I saw them here. I was like, oh, maybe I'll order some. And then when I looked at related products, like people buy ads, what you'll see in is it related products or people search for this, search for that?
People also buy, if you scroll down even further.
Or if you just go here, look, right next to it, the second one, look at the second one up there. Click on the one next to Magic Spoon.
Protein and gluten-free breakfast cereal by blah, blah, blah.
So I don't know who this is. Right. 3 Wishes is now got a knockoff. You get 6 boxes for the price of the other one. Look at the price per, what is the price per ounce on this? I can't read it.
$1.89.
They grabbed the entire branding. So anyway, now Nick, take a look at the cost for the other one, for Magic Spoon.
$1.02. It looks like, but depending on it obviously varies by
so anyway,
box size, but
that's what you're dealing with, right?
But none of it's 89 cents exactly. Would there have been a B2B play for Peloton? Like, could they have made a deal with Equinox? Like, just buy.
We talked about that, right? Like, what a great merger. Well, no, this is what I think. We have like one of
hotels.
those.
We talked about hotels.
There was we have like a communal gym at the resort where I have a ski house, and they have 2 Pelotons there. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll jump on a bike. I've never done it. I do the treadmill. And it was like, oh, you have to log it and type your login in. And I was like, why don't they have the QR code here? I was about to do it, but I got into the weights. But I think this would be the move. If I had a bunch of cash or a private equity, this is a free private equity play. Go buy Tonal, Hydro, and Peloton. And then go find gyms that are going out of business or maybe a gym like 24-hour fitness and put these assets together, come up with a brand name. Peloton seems like the best one to use. So make it the Peloton Hydro, make it the Peloton Tonal, and then just make it 24 hours a day. You come in anytime you want, like 24-hour fitness. And these could be like a different footprint size, and you could put them into apartment buildings or flow, whatever you want, colleges, and you get access to all this equipment if you have a membership, and the membership allows you to go to any of those anywhere they are. It would be brilliant. Be brilliant. Because that's like recording everything is so much, it's such a game changer when you record all your workouts and you can see them in one interface. So right now, Apple Health lets me sync my Peloton workouts and my Tonal workouts, my Fitbod workouts. And then like if I do an outdoor, have an outdoor bike ride, outdoor walk, that's built into Apple. So I kind of see everything in one place. Is kind of nice that they can import the Peloton stuff. So this is why Apple could have a series of gyms or Amazon could have a series of gyms. Like they're going into healthcare and it's about prevention now. So if you put it under the health rubric, my Lord, what a great, imagine if because Amazon's doing retail. Imagine if Amazon, what do they call their quick service or their top stores? Like with the top 100 items, maybe they call it 5-star or 4-star, Amazon
something
4-star.
Like that. Yeah, those stores are awesome. Those stores are like irresistible. Make that into a gym or give the Apple branding. Apple and Peloton is such a like natural sort of feeling brand tie up, but it's also super far afield for them. Like, yeah, they sell premium hardware and they're good at making and selling premium hardware, but it feels like a stretch for Apple too. Like it's hard. You're right. With Amazon somewhat off the table, because of antitrust, it's hard to think who would rescue them at this point, unless it's like Walmart or, we looked at hotel chains and they all have like the same market cap as Peloton. They don't even have enough anymore.
I'm going to say this is crazy,
Airbnb,
Molly.
like,
here's a crazy idea for you.
Yeah.
Amazon buys a mall. Amazon buys a strip mall, whatever. Amazon buys a mall.
All
you
malls.
got your Amazon 4-star. You got an Amazon Books. You got an Amazon Go, the quick serve. You got the Amazon Fresh. You got a Whole Foods. And you have a Peloton store.
Yeah.
How great would that mall be? Or a strip mall? They should just do this as a pilot. Find a great strip mall in San Diego, the Bay Area or Los Angeles. They're all over the place. These strip malls. We have
100%.
maybe
And they're all like
40
empty.
parking spots and 5 stores. And it's like a framing store and a dry cleaner. Buy one of those, a 2-story one and put in 4 Amazon stores. It'd become a sick destination.
I mean, honestly, I would buy everything there. I'm so sad to say it, but I would.
I mean, this is the thing. As consumers, you want convenience and you want really great products. And Amazon is the most convenient of any product ever made for humans, aside from like maybe Uber and them.
Yeah.
Like those are the 2 most convenient. It'd be amazing.
The chat has a funny idea, which is that Flo could add Peloton to its houses.
Rivka,
Let's go,
get
Adam.
on let's do the tonal and then we do a shot and then we do Peloton. Okay, Rivka? The good stuff. Okay, we put the 1492 in the water cooler. Everybody loves the gym now. Okay, it's genius. You want to go to the gym and do a shot? Let's go, shots in the gym. Drug Peloton class. Let's go, Flo. I'm here to make Molly laugh. Listen, if you're a founder or an employee of a startup, it's critical that you become capital efficient at a time like this. Fundraising, really hard. And your burn rate, hey, that might make you unfundable and you want to make that runway last as long as possible. Well, one great way to do that is to cut the cost of running all of these disparate SaaS applications. Why not run on one platform? And that one platform is called Odoo. Using Odoo's suite of business applications means you don't have to have a bunch of messy SaaS subscriptions everywhere that nobody's using, that are costing you all this money. You're getting charged on your credit cards every month. Nope. Everything you need is already in Odoo. All you have to do is turn it on, boop, when you're ready. And they'll only charge you for the apps you use. They want to grow with you. They want to support you. They have over 40 main apps and 16,000 apps from their open source community. We're talking about all the important stuff: sales, accounting, marketing, automation, HR, website builders, and so much more. And this will streamline your business. No more issues transferring your data back and forth and wasting time. Now it's time for the best part. The call to action on this is amazing. The first app you use on Odoo is free forever, okay? And they're so confident they're going to give you $1,000 credit on your first implementation pack. All you have to do is go to odoo.com/twist, odoo.com/twist for $1,000 off. That's odoo.com/twist.
One of your other favorite generals, not Zod, the other one, Slootman. This is a tale of 2 earnings reports that we have today. So if Peloton
Slootman.
is almost is kissing right up to default dead, another pandemic darling is booming after
Let
each
me
quarter.
guess. Revenue up. Look, a
let's see.
great growth company,
Revenue.
20 to 30%. I don't know the answer here. But if it's General Slootman, my guy, Slootman Zaslav,
Yep.
I'm going to guess Slootman is double.
Is
of a
double
high
quarter
growth
over
company.
quarter
Instead
or
of 20 year over year, instead of 20 to 30%, I think he's 40 to 60.
This is Snowflake, by the way, that we're talking about. Cloud services provider Snowflake, just for those of you at home who might be trying to keep up.
What did he do?
Q2 revenue, $497 million, up 83%
What?
year over year.
What?
80.
What is that? That's good numbers for a Series A company.
Year over year. 18%
Is he selling
quarter
crack
over
or
quarter.
fentanyl?
Apparently.
When you buy Snowflake, do they give you fentanyl pills with it? Why is this thing so addicting to people?
I mean, I don't know. I don't even 1,000,000% understand what they do, except for print money, evidently. Net revenue retention rate of 171%. So Snowflake grew revenue 71% from the customers it already had. It was like, hey guys, you want to give us some more money? And they did.
This guy's got more
just did.
net retention than El Chapo. I mean,
we need to send him a T-shirt that says that. More net retention than El Chapo.
this guy is. I mean,
Oh my God, it's incredible. Frank Slootman, only the government can print money. The rest of us have to take it from somebody else. He wrote in Amp It Up. Thank you, producer Rachel.
He's such a gangster. You know what? I'm making my own legion. I'm making my legion of super villain CEOs, like the almost hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
And it's General Zaslav. I got Slootman. We're going to have to do our hardcore CEO draft. You got
We
Slootman.
definitely are, because I'm not sold on Zod yet. We'll see if this works for him.
And then you put Adam Newman in there. These are some hardcore people.
Some hardcore supervillain CEOs.
Put Jobs in there, Bill Gates.
I feel like Frank Slootman somewhere right now is like, excuse me, but I do not deserve this Adam Newman pairing.
Well, whatever. Newman's got his own super. Newman's like the Riddler. I mean, Slootman's Lex Luthor.
Yeah, he definitely is. Product gross profit. This is a fun one. $334.7 million, up 93% year over year.
Okay.
Gross profit up 93% year over year.
So he grew the top line 83%, and then he grew the bottom line an extra 10% on that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so he basically told everybody, I want to double revenue, but I want you to do it more profitably. Usually when you try to hit big numbers, you got to invest and spend money. Guy's a murderer.
Yeah.
I mean,
full on. They did have, interestingly, a Q2 net loss of $223 million.
They did. Oh, you know what? This might be also like either investment losses or stock-based comp. You know?
Yeah, totally.
There's probably a little stock-based comp in there.
Snowflake trades at the largest price-to-sales multiple of any public SaaS company. 29x. Yeah.
Well, you got the Slootman factor. I mean, this is like, the Slootman factor is at work here. He slooted it. He slooted the whole company. I mean, this is what he did. He came in, he said, show me I want to meet every salesperson and I want to see your number. And then they brought him the numbers and they said, here's your number. Here's your new number, double. And they said, okay, well, what's the other option? He said, there's the option. And he pointed to the door. That's it. You double your revenue or there's the door. I'll find somebody who can. And you know what? Crazy goal. I bet you that's the goal, he said. I want double.
Yep.
Or you can pick door number 2, which, by the way, is door number 1 is you double your book of business. Door number 2 is there's the door. I'm sorry to bleep it out. There's another bleep for you, Rachel. That's it.
Fired up.
He saluted him. He saluted the sales team.
Yeah.
Salute the Slootman. You will salute the Slootman.
Earnings call, he said, Snowflake's next frontier of innovation is aimed at transforming how cloud applications are built, deployed, sold, and transacted. And then he went on to say, in the scariest threat to anybody else in this business you've ever heard in your entire life, we look forward to executing against this growth opportunity.
Did he just describe AWS or GitHub?
I mean, both.
I think he just described cloud computing. I think he just described all SaaS.
I think Salesforce, by the way, had like a down quarter. I think they everybody. Slootman is coming for everybody. He's like, oh, are you an awesome database? Are you cloud services? Are you the way that cloud applications are built, deployed, sold, and transacted?
Well, that would mean an app store. Well, no, it's a business-to-business app store, which, by the way, Salesforce has an app store. It does incredibly well. We have a couple of startups that sell in the Salesforce app store. So you have Salesforce as your CRM, but then you plug in other things you need in your company, right?
Yep.
This, to me, feels like he's going after that, maybe.
Well, let me see. Salesforce reported earnings today, and it was like, they trimmed full year expectations for earnings and revenue because they're getting slooted. Dude, is that tower coming down and a snowflake's going up in downtown San Francisco?
No, man. He's like Dr. Freeze. He's going to come in there and he's going to just manifest the first snowstorm in San Francisco history. He's going to come in here like global warming. There's a blizzard. He puts a blizzard on the Salesforce tower. This is like the action movie of earnings reports. I mean, can you imagine we're in the greatest financial turmoil since 2008? It's 15 years after that. And then Slootman's like, you know what? I'm just going to put up numbers. You guys can all cry in your coffee. You want to do a riff? Okay, riff. You guys can cry in your coffee. Reset expectations. You know what we're going to do? We're going to beat expectations.
Yeah.
This is what I like. I don't care what the conditions are out there. Let's play the game on the field.
Get it done. We look forward. Don't you have a chill? We look forward to executing against this growth opportunity.
Peloton is like people are jumping out the window, and then people at Snowflake are like literally taking the beach. You know, like they're just literally invading other markets.
Yeah.
Just mountains of cash, crazy growth. They're banshees.
All right, now that we got
Barbarians,
TV,
Vikings.
action movies,
Sorry.
and
I'm so excited. I wish I was a
exciting
shareholder.
drama on the brain. It's time to toss to Lon Harris. We
We
got
J trade here.
our man, the Lonster, here to talk. Oh, whoa, hold up. Not yet for the Lon. The glasses are coming on.
Sorry, I gotta open my
The
Robinhood
glasses are
app.
coming on.
I'm ready to Sloot. I need to put a bet on Slootman before the Fed makes a decision. God almighty, this just shows you great companies can be built in down markets. This guy's going to take over the world with this company. What if he starts buying other companies?
I don't know, man. He can do anything.
Here's Lon. All right, everybody, on the phone today is OpenPhone's founder, Darina Kulya. Welcome to the program, Darina.
Thanks, Jason. Great to be here.
Now, what mistakes do most founders make with phone numbers in their startups?
Great question. First one is they use their personal phone number for their business. And it's an easy mistake to make because you don't necessarily think about it much. You know, you incorporate your company, you put your phone number, there's all these forms you fill out. It very quickly goes from being your personal number to being the number for the company. And when that happens, there are all these data aggregators and all kinds of services that take your number and put it everywhere.
Yeah.
Suddenly now there is this uptick in spam text messages.
It's the worst.
Yeah, and people just wonder, like, how are others getting my number? Well, let me tell you, you put it in different places and it kind of snowballed from there. So that's the first mistake.
Yes.
The second, which is initially as a founder, you're the salesperson. You're the only sales rep. And then you hire a first sales rep. And sometimes founders let that person use their personal phone number.
Oh, no.
That number, the data, everything that happens is just fully belongs to the sales rep. And if that person leaves,
You lose the entire history with your customers.
yeah,
And then what if that sales executive goes to a competitor?
exactly. Yep.
Okay, everybody, Twist listeners can get 20% off any plan for their first 6 months at OpenPhone. Just go to openphone.com/twist. If you got an existing number, they'll port it right over for free. Head to OpenPhone.com/twist today for 20% off. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the highlight of the week for all This Week in Startups listeners and Molly and myself. The amazing Lon Harris is here. He's at Lon's on the Twitter, twitter.com, LONS. If you would like a great mixture of a classic coastal elite and a huge nerd who understands everything about film, this is the Twitter handle you've been waiting for. Lon,
Does this look like the home of a coastal elite to you?
it's a little bit of a joke. It's a little bit of a joke. This is not the coastal elite, but I do like that you put some. I mean, what's going on with these pictures on the wall? You punched up your background.
Oh, I put some art. Yeah. Well, these were all over my apartment, but now that I'm on Zoom so often, I was like, I need a permanent sort of backdrop.
Did my sheets ever come? Did they get you the sheets or no?
We never did the sheet. We did not do the sheet.
Damn it.
The noties
Fresh.
ask about those just
All
about
right,
every week.
that's it. I'm going fresh.
Every week.
It was
Fresh.
a research thing. I was supposed to look into what are the good. I don't know. I don't know sheets, and I never did.
It's enough. It's enough. Fresh. I want you to send 2 sets of sheets. Number 1 brand, the number 2 brand, up to $1,000 in sheets. But I want a duvet or something very nice. So when I'm talking to Lon on Thursdays, I get a nice view here. Okay? That's it.
Fair enough. I believe this is a queen. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All hail the queen. Speaking of the queen.
Hey, look at you.
House of Dragons came out and all of us have PTSD. Lon, what did you think?
I liked it. I enjoyed it. It's enough to keep me coming back for more. And it does feel like they made it feel like more Game of Thrones. Like it feels like a continuation of the original series enough that I feel like people are going to get back on board. And I think a lot of people almost wanted an excuse. Like they wanted to get back into Game of Thrones, but it ended on this kind of sour note. And they were just looking for, give me an excuse to get back into this. Give me something to hold on to. And I think it's good enough for that.
So it's the Rogue One. It's the Rogue One of the Star Wars universe. It pulled people back in after some missteps.
I do feel like the scale, I was saying this to Molly before we went live, I feel like the scale is a lot smaller in a weird way now. Like we went from, this is a show about the politics and of this whole world and all
Seven
the different
kingdoms.
players and all the different houses. And this one feels a lot more like a personal story about a few of these characters. And I'm not sure how that's going to play over the course of multiple seasons, but for now, it feels like it's going to let them focus on a few characters and let them grow this sort of main storyline out more, which I like.
How did it do, Molly? Do we have any metrics yet on how this did?
Largest premiere in HBO's history, drawing almost 10 million viewers. There is some pent-up demand for Game of Thrones content, it appears.
Wait.
Yeah.
The
Across all
largest premiere?
platforms, if you add up
Across all
TV, HBO Online, and HBO Max, almost 10 million viewers, which is the most for any first weekend of an HBO show.
Yeah, ever.
That's wait, 10 million people watched it?
In like the first, I think 4 days, something like that. But they say,
Holy cow.
Game of Thrones, it's front loaded. So almost like 40% of your views come in on Sunday for Game of Thrones. So
It's appointment, you'd say.
right.
Yeah.
Yes. But 10 million is very good for an HBO show. And obviously they sounded pleased.
People liked it. They got an 83% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes from 400 plus reviews. George R.R. Martin said, to your point about the kind of smaller world, that Game of Thrones was high fantasy and House of the Dragon is meant to be more of a Shakespearean tragedy. I thought that the responses were, I was surprised to see that 83% fresh rating, because I thought the responses were kind of all over the place. I personally, I don't want to watch anymore. I mean, you all know me to have low emotional bandwidth, and I don't like these shows where but certainly I just don't want to see a show where a lady gets carved up, but I'm supposed to feel fine about ladies in this world because one gets to be the queen.
Well, I think
it's just yucky.
That very
and it's
violent,
gonna get worse.
Yeah, there's a very violent and disturbing birth surgery, sort of forced birth sequence in this that a lot of people found sort of objectionable. It is very difficult to watch. I think the creators almost compounded the problem, because in advance of this show, they made a whole big thing about we're not going to do as much violence against women. And that was such a big Game of Thrones thing. And it's not going to be what drives the plot this time. And this is a lot less of that kind of stuff. And it's more. And then the pilot, the very first episode,
is the Red Wedding Part 2.
Really gruesome scene of violence against just a woman. It's not like
in the most vulnerable and feminine peak of making a baby, right? Yeah.
I literally felt like it was an FU to all of it. I was just okay.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Thanks
and
for that.
I feel like if you had approached it in the almost the exact 180 opposite way, if you had warned people, look, the inciting incident in this is extremely troubling, but we're going to get away as the season progresses. We're going to get whatever. If you didn't deny what you were doing, and so then it feels like you're jerking the rug out from under people, I think your reactions are going to be better.
Cut it.
Or just don't. It doesn't need to be so disturbing and visual.
It really did not. You did not have to do that on screen.
You could just show her die.
Time.
That's it.
Or you
could
could
just show her with a towel over, a sheet over her,
or the face,
and she died in
or
childbirth.
whatever.
The actor playing the king, Paddy Considine, is an amazing actor. You could show him reacting.
Yep.
And he would sell you on the gruesome horribleness of what's happening. And she's about to, spoilers, the woman is about to die anyway. What matters in terms of the ongoing show is how this affects him. So why would you show just an objective bird's eye view of the horror instead of the face of the character reacting to it? And it also gets you out of having to show all of the blood and gore.
And this wasn't the only hyper-violent aspect of the show.
Right.
The Golden Guard goes out and decides we're going to round up every criminal and Judge Dredd them. You're guilty. Here's your punishment. We're going to castrate you or chop off a limb. Seemed to be the top two things.
Yeah.
And there were so many they had to cart them off in a cart.
In wheelbarrows. And
wheelbarrows of appendages.
People were just yay, Game of Thrones is back. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember why. I mean,
they did put it in our faces.
The first season of the first Game of Thrones, and then I read all the books, and then I was like, I'm not watching that because I knew what was coming.
You knew the Red Wedding was coming.
Yeah. I was like, nope. And then when they got past the point where there was book material and started inventing new material, then I started to read the recaps because I still was like, I don't think I want to watch it, but I'll read the recaps. And then I watched the last half of the last season. But watching this first premiere did make me remember why That's not fun for me.
Does it read less disturbing when you read about the Red Wedding? Was it less disturbing than seeing that episode, I guess?
I never watched that episode. I just read the recap.
God,
I was like, hell no, I'm not watching that. And then they made it even worse.
I think
in the show,
the fact that you're reading it on the page it's not as visceral. Like, it's still upsetting and disturbing and gross, but there's something about seeing it visually that massively compounds that. And they do. Molly's right. I've read some of the books too. They do tend to up the graphic nature of the vibe. Martin might say, and he slashed him with his sword, splitting Sir Robert in two. But that's not that graphic, whereas when you see it and there's guts spilling
and
out.
sound and
the
flay. Remember the guy who wanted to flay everybody? Like, there was one group of people in the original Game of Thrones who were into flaying, which is like cutting the skin off.
Sure.
I was like, dude.
That's their sigil.
I'm like,
they're
what is
the flayed man?
They're the flayed man. That's the Bolton House sigil.
Yeah, I mean literally, I was like,
a sigil is their signature.
Their symbol, like how the Starks are wolves and the Targaryens are dragons.
The picture on the flag.
Boltons are a man being hung with his skin flayed off.
If that's your insignia for your house, you're a pretty sick group of individuals.
Yeah,
I mean,
the Boltons are messed up. Man. That was Bruce and Ramsay.
All right, so let me ask this.
So I just want to make it clear that I don't want to watch that show for our.
No,
I'm just glad that it's back because now I get to tap all of this knowledge. I'm sitting here knowing who Bruce and Ramsay Bolton are and getting nothing out of it.
Nice work.
So this House of the Dragons must be making Zaslav, General Zaslav. I refer to him as General because he is my Zod. Always my favorite villain was Zod. Kneel before Zod. And now the HBO employees must kneel before General Zaslav and explain themselves. Where is the next House of the Dragon? What's next? How does this impact the streaming wars, do you think? Like, this is the biggest bet they've ever made, and it's paying off.
I mean, it's up there. The great news for HBO is they already have a bunch of other spin-offs in active development. So this is like you're on the right track, green light a few more of these.
Okay. This is their Marvel. This is their Star Wars. This is the Lord of the Rings.
Valerian, who played by actor Steve Toussaint. He was he's the black guy with the dreadlocks who was in House of the Dragon. He's on the King's Council. He's playing a character named Corlys Valerian. They already have a spinoff in development about him before the action of this show. He was a pirate. He was like the Sea Snake is what they called him. So it's about his naval adventures would be another show. There's the Adventures of Dunk and Egg, which is about a knight and his squire around this time. There's the guy there's Princess Nymeria, which is like an ancient myth in the Game of Thrones world they could go back and make. So it's great news for them because they were already working on this as if it was their big Marvel Star Wars type franchise. And now this is a big green light, like, yes, people are into it, keep going.
That's fantastic. Great. All I care about is the Starks. Like Arya Stark is the
the biggest spinoff they have currently in the works is they announced Kit Harington is signed on to come back as Jon Snow. So we're going to get a sequel series about whatever. Remember, Game of Thrones ended with Jon Snow abdicating the throne. He goes back north of the wall to go live presumably with the wildlings. So
all I care about is Sansa and Arya. Is Sansa dead?
No, Sansa's the Queen of the North.
Yes,
so Sansa's running Winterfell at this time. Arya
played by Maisie, my pal Maisie Williams.
We don't know. She's like
adventuring.
Hero.
Yeah, she's like a faceless man,
assassinating,
mercenary assassin.
That's all I care about. Make me the Arya Stark. Is it Arya?
Arya Stark. Well,
I want Arya Stark with a little Sansa on the side. That's all I care about.
This Jon Snow show, they're playing it very cagey right now, but it would be obviously he's not going to stay north of the wall the whole friggin' time. That would be boring.
I mean, I don't mean to bait and trigger you guys, but like, of course, the guy got a show. Like, we only care about Arya Stark. Jon Snow is so boring. All he does is stare
Obi-Wan was about Princess Leia. I mean, this is it. Whenever you make it about one of the female characters,
no one watches it
and
get canceled like Batgirl.
No, well. Kneel before General Zaslav.
My assumption would be
right now.
You're
within the first episode or two, Jon's back south of the wall. He's back in Winterfell. He's reunited with at least Sansa. I feel like you'd be crazy not to
kill him in the first season. I want him
you'd
dead
be
by
crazy not to bring surviving
and then just have it be about Sansa and Arya.
And remember,
those were the best characters.
Bran is in King's Landing. He's king.
All
so,
right. Anyway.
you gotta bring them back into the mix at some point.
Let me tell you a quick story. True Fabricant is a launch portfolio founder. It's one of my founders. And his company is called Scout. It's a lead gen platform. But Drew was recently under the gun. He needed a developer with a very specific skill set, and Lemon.io delivered the perfect candidate quickly, and they were a pleasure to work with, according to my pal Drew. So take it from me. Hiring developers is one of the hardest challenges you will have as a founder. We all know that. So Lemon.io is here to help you. And they're here to help you hire better developers faster, just like they helped my boy Drew. They have a network of engineers from Europe and Latin America, and every candidate has been tested and interviewed by their team. They know how to find a great developer, and that's their business. Here's how they will help you. There's no wasting time with unqualified candidates. No. Au contraire, mon frère. Easy access to the best global talent. We're talking about the top 1% here. And they can get you a developer up and running within a week. And of course, it's more affordable. Go to lemon.io/twist to get 15% off your first 4 weeks. Lemon.io/twist to get 15% off your first 4 weeks. Once again, 15% off for This Week in Startups listeners only at lemon.io/twist. All right. So, Molly, what else is that?
Zod's just going to be all in on Game of Thrones forever, right?
General
Like, it sounds
Zod
like he's just kind of killing literally everything that's not that. He's pulling the golden cloaks right now for all of the other properties.
Yeah. Well, at this point, I mean, I think the other thing that's pretty clear is he's very down on animation. He's not an animation guy. They've been really just routing the entire Cartoon Network, Warner Brothers animation team. Even if you've survived, at this point, they're signaling to you, look,
why?
Begin packing
your
bag. I thought
animation made money. Does animation not make money anymore?
They must be seeing data that I'm not seeing, because everybody else seems pretty bullish on that. Like, a lot of other streamers are putting a lot of bets on animation. Sony's strategy is hugely centered around anime and animation. So he must be looking at HBO Max numbers I'm not seeing, and like Disney animation views and Cartoon Network views are soft, because these are all the shows he's cutting. He's cutting a lot of the team over there, and he's put the fear of God into every Cartoon Network creator that their shows are going to vaporize and disappear.
Right out of that
nobody wants to be the
let's lower the budgets and increase the production.
Because they shut down Cape Crusader this week, which was a follow-up to Batman the Animated Series, an iconic, beloved series. Bruce Timm, the creator of the original Batman, was back, and it was produced by Matt Reeves and J.J. Abrams. And they just signed this week Matt Reeves to a long, ongoing contract. They got him away from Netflix and signed him to WB Discovery. You're going to cancel a Batman animated series from, like, legendary creators? Even as you sign the Batman director to come? Like, it seems crazy.
Yeah.
I can't explain that one.
He's postponing, and do we think this is for recuts or for marketing purposes? 2 big budget DC superhero movies, including Aquaman 2 and Shazam 2. I am not too worried about Shazam 2, but I do want Aquaman 2 to come out.
I mean, they'll both come out. There's a lot. Aquaman 2, at this point, it's so hard to say, because there's so many different conflicting stories. There was the story Zaslav doesn't like the current cut. There's the Amber Heard question kind of hangs over that whole thing. There's also Shazam 2, Aquaman 2, and The Flash interact. There are segments in those movies that pay off in the other movie. So every time they move one around, they've got to adjust the other two. Like Michael Keaton pops up in some of these. There's multiverse stuff going on.
Okay, so this is a Tetris that they're trying to fix. And
every time they
pieces keep dropping.
Every time they mix one of these movies up, it's ripple effect that is causing problems with the other movies.
That's what happens when you with the multiverse.
And you've got, Aquaman 2's got the Amber Heard situation. Flash also has the Ezra Miller situation.
Oh, right. So they have two of their, one of the top tier and one a second tier character.
are these very troubled. Yeah, like they're.
What do you do with a disaster like that, Molly? What's the right thing to do? Just separate the art from the individual? Or?
Maybe, I mean, I think probably do what he's doing, which is push them out until the news cycle moves on, right? Like let people forget about it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I mean, that was
how sinister. Miller
delay.
They kept pushing the Ezra Miller decision back, push it back. Flash
and then he kept screwing things back. Up.
And now they've come out and said, "I'm going to go get help." They've started the rehabilitation storyline. So hopefully, by the time Flash is ready to come out, they've resuscitated their public image enough that we're all okay seeing an Ezra Miller movie. That's the thinking. I'm not saying it's going to work.
That would be my guess too. Is it's all like delay, and there will be another.
Can I ask an honest question? Is anybody not going to go see Aquaman 2 because Amber Heard's in it? Is anybody not going to see The Flash because Ezra Miller's in it? Am I crazy to think that it would have less than 10% impact?
Right this second, it might be a little bit of an impact, but I can't.
What do you think, Lon? If you had to pick a percentage less revenue, tickets sold.
Yeah.
I'm taking aside like public outcry on Twitter or whatever, but in terms of brass tacks,
I think
that's what General Zod is about.
I think it will matter. I think it does impact some people, but not maybe as many as you'd think from spending all day on social media. Like this is one of those, Twitter is not reality. And like, this may seem like the only thing that matters to people on social media. In the real world, even awareness of this story is going to be like surprisingly low. Like a lot of people probably haven't even heard about Ezra Miller's run-ins.
I'm not up on that at all.
Yeah. Or even know the name Ezra Miller and associate it with The Flash. So you always have to take all that stuff with a little bit of a grain of salt.
Can I ask another stupid question? Don't these people have morality clauses when they're banking on them in this big way? Because if I remember correctly, like as but one example, Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. wasn't bankable. He wasn't bondable, I guess. You couldn't get insurance from a film. And, they had to put all these clauses in. Listen, you better stay on the straight and narrow or else you don't get this part. And there were like significant financial repercussions if you screw up. Don't Amber Heard and Ezra Miller have those kind of clauses where it's like financially just brutal to them if they screw up?
Yeah. I mean, we
or do those things not work?
Up, right?
We recently saw this with Jackass Forever. Bam Margera was in it, and then he had a clause that he wasn't allowed, that he had to take drug tests while they were making it. He failed the drug test. That's why he's not in the movie.
Interesting.
So these do still exist. The problem with both of these movies is they're already made. Like if you're Warner Brothers, I guess they could sue. Maybe they could sue Ezra Miller, but at this point, you've got a movie. It's worth more as a movie than it is as a lawsuit,
right?
Or totally. Whatever. Like you want to release it as a movie.
Get it out there. Speaking of movies and movies that we may or may not go to, let's talk about the return of MoviePass, shall we?
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I love everything about this. For those of you who may have missed it, the MoviePass was the movie theater subscription service that everyone was like, wow, that makes no economic sense whatsoever. You could pay $10 a month and go and see as many movies as you want. And then not surprisingly, it shut down almost immediately back in 2018. But now MoviePass says a beta launch is coming on or around Labor Day weekend, including 3 pricing tiers that will, quote, generally be at $10, $20, or $30 a month and contain a certain number of credits for movies each month. Lon, are you long on this? Is this going to work?
We need
it's like
TBD. No. We need a lot. No. We need a lot more info because the economics of MoviePass didn't work. Like it was, people loved it. It was an amazing offer.
Of course they did.
It was not feasible economically. People were seeing way too many movies. Theaters were losing money on this deal. It was just not a good deal for anybody other than people who got to see a lot of free movies. It was a great deal for them.
Did you do it?
Yeah, I had MoviePass. Towards the end. I wasn't one of the early people in because I was like, how could this possibly work? It seems like a scam. And then once I figured out, oh no, it's just VCs are giving them money and then they're blowing it. Sure, I got on board eventually.
How many movies did you see in your biggest month?
I'm never that big of a theater. Probably 4. I mean,
yeah, I
probably went once a week at my most, but I knew people who were seeing 10, 12 movies a month, going every night after work.
It was so awesome.
Yeah.
Well, the thing was, you could also see movies this is the craziness, Molly. I think it was $14 a month. You could see movies anywhere. And if you saw a movie and it wasn't part of the MoviePass network, like you would just send them the stub and they would pay you back in your account. It was the most bizarre system ever.
And it was getting people. I mean, I will say when it existed, it was amazing for just movie fandom in general because people would take a chance. They would go see anything because it was free. They were just like, I showed up at the theater and I just walked into this and it was amazing. And so the diversity and breadth of movies that were getting viewed in theaters skyrocketed overnight because of this offer, but it's not a feasible business model. So this new one, they're saying 3 different levels, and then you're basically entering like a raffle. Like you're putting your name into a hat or a hopper, and they're picking whoever's first come, first serve. Certain numbers of people get to see the movie if you got in line early enough. And the different levels, you get more, like they'll weight it more somehow, but it's not specific yet. So we don't know what the offer really is yet.
One thing we do know is that they are partnered with movie theaters this time. Like according to Business Insider, they said they have partnerships with 25% of the theaters in the U.S. Like previously, they weren't even partnering with theaters, so they weren't even getting any kind of a discount from theaters. They were just straight up buying theaters back, which is bonkers.
The other thing, one more thing before there's one more thing that makes me very cautious about this, which is that the guy, one of the co-founders of MoviePass who bought it back and who's relaunching it, also it has his hands in a Web3 company that is like eyeball tracking on ads, like make sure someone watches a whole ad before they click away.
Yeah.
And so obviously that's what this is going to be. It's like, oh, you want your free movie ticket? Watch these 5 ads and take your token and then use that to get. It's like, no, I'm out. That's all. That's what it would take for me to not be interested.
If you are watching this on video, you will see me waving my red flag right now because that is a problem.
Here's the thing. There is a business here. This could change the entire industry if they priced it like the Epic or Icon ski pass. It needs to cost $500 a year. And for the $500, you should get 20 tickets or something to that effect. Like some number of tickets. So actually, it would be 50, would be $10. You should get 100 tickets for $500 a year, $5 a ticket. And you should be able to use it for yourself or a companion. And you should have to pay it in advance. So, these ski passes started, if you get a local one in Tahoe, I think it's $500-$600. If you get it across the country and world like I do, it's like $800 or something. But a ski pass now is $150, $250 a day. So once you hit the 4th or 5th day, you've kind of broken even. So it's a great deal. But what it did was it gave them the money in advance. And then they could float the entire business on it. So this would be incredible. And what you should do is it should be $500 and you get, 20 popcorns and 20 sodas, whatever size you want. And that would be a really cool way for these movie theaters to have some base of revenue and to get more people buzzing about stories and talking to them. And then they should say, if you come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the slowest days in the theater, or you come before 6 p.m. On Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, if you come before 6 p.m., your companion ticket is free. So now you're filling it when it's empty and people are buying more popcorn and then you get more buzz about movies. This could totally change the whole nature of passion for films. It did for me, because when I got it, I bought it as an experiment, and I happened to be in LA on my own for a week ahead of my family coming out because I had some business to do, and I was staying downtown LA next to the AMC, and the AMC had I don't know how many theaters it has down there.
It's a Regal, I believe.
A Regal, right. How many theaters is that thing, 20?
8, 10, 12 maybe?
It's big.
It's pretty big, yeah.
It was big, and I just went in there, and I watched, all of these independent films they had, all the major ones. I did 5 in a week, or maybe 10 days. It was great.
That's what we were seeing, and that was great. I mean, the one other downside now is that a lot of the theater chains stole their idea. So AMC saw MoviePass and now added AMC Plus or A Plus.
I haven't. Yeah.
It's
great. $10 a month.
It's called.
I get $10 a month and I get a free ticket every month. I get a ticket every month for $10.
And you get a little bit of higher level service, which MoviePass should also integrate. Skipping the lines. That
A-list,
stuff.
they've got a few other brands. Cinemark also has one now. And, so those theaters are going to be more inclined to go with their own loyalty programs than sign on to the third party MoviePass one. So I don't know. Their train may have sailed. It really all depends on the offer. It's got to be easy, and it's still got to feel like cheap, like you're getting away with something. I
want to go for the more high-end VIP service. That's what they should be working on. I think it should be a big commitment up front and a great deal on the back end. But Lon, as we wrap here, what should we be looking forward to in the next week or two? In the next week or two, what should we be looking forward to? And then
obviously,
Molly's going to try to stump you with a recommendation.
Oh, well, September 2nd, of course, which is a week from Friday. A week from tomorrow, we've got the first 2 episodes of Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power on Amazon. That's a huge debut. I am also really looking forward to, there's next week on Hulu, there's an FX series called The Patient. This comes from the creators of The Americans, which I don't know if you guys
I love The Americans,
FX's
my favorite.
The Americans. So good. So the 2 guys who created The Americans, this is their new show. Steve Carell stars as a therapist who gets kidnapped by Donald Gleason, who is a serial killer, because the serial killer wants the therapist to cure him. So he kidnaps and imprisons a therapist and forces him to give him therapy to like cure his homicidal impulses.
That's funny.
That starts on Thursday, a week from today.
What is that called?
Hulu. It's called The Patient.
Oh
you
my
can look
God.
up. There's a trailer out there right now.
They bought that in the room. They heard that one sentence and they're like,
oh, yeah.
It's Silence of the Lambs meets Dr. Melfi.
Right. But like a little quirky, a little dark comedy. Yeah, yeah.
So they're going to, so it's literally like if Hannibal Lecter, what was that therapy one that Gabriel Byrne did, I think, on HBO?
Oh, In Treatment.
In Treatment. So it's In Treatment meets Silence of the Lambs is what you're telling us.
Yeah, I mean, I like your Sopranos almost. It's a little bit like if you could imagine a Tony Dr. Melfi relationship, but you know, like
but Dr. Melfi is in a basement handcuffed to a wall,
been taken hostage. Yeah, but it's Steve Carell too.
Okay, Molly, describe a film or TV series that you like and you would like to see more of. This is where Lon shines. So pick 2 or 3 series you like or movies that you wish you could see something similar to. I'll give you an example. If I love the film Dread, and I also loved Prey and the Predator series. So if I were to say to Lon, hey, I enjoyed Dread, the Carl Urban $30 million low finance,
Garland,
incredible sci-fi film. But I also like the Predator series and Prometheus. I like this kind of genre of intelligent sci-fi, gritty, dark. Blade Runner is my favorite film. Lon, what would another film for me to think about for series be?
Well, I would recommend in terms of sci-fi. There's a great anime film called Belle that's now on HBO Max. It's almost like a Ready Player One kind of elements, but mixed with a Beauty and the Beast kind of thing, but with a sort of a dark sci-fi sort of twist.
Wait, how do you spell that?
Belle, just like Belle, like from Beauty and the Beast. It's basically about this very shy, reserved girl in real life, but then there is this virtual, massive virtual online community that she goes in, and there she's like a superstar singer, and she begins investigating who's this, like there's a beastly terrorist everybody's afraid of, and she decides to find them and figure out what's going on. So it's like it becomes a play on Beauty and the Beast. That one I thought was really good. Also, I think Day Shift on Netflix, which is Jamie Foxx's new vampire hunting comedy, I think was a lot of fun and has kind of some action, some martial arts, but also it's in this like fantasy vampire Los Angeles. So I
watched Predator 2 to get the scene with the at the end.
Right, at the end with the gun, the revolver,
the pirate's gun. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, Molly, now so you understand how the game is played.
I also just watched Prey, and it was excellent.
You liked Prey, trying. Right?
Well, there's also
fantastic.
The one other one I was going to say, just in terms of action, there's a Korean film on Netflix right now called Carter. The same director who did The Villainess a few years ago. The Villainess, a landmark Korean action film that actually ended up inspiring John Wick 3. Villainess has this big scene where a bunch of guys are sword fighting on the backs of motorcycles. And it was this very famous scene. And then John Wick 3, they basically like took that and were like, we're going to do that now too. So this guy's new film, it's almost like a Crank style thing. You're following a guy who's got like a bomb implanted in his neck and he's got 24 hours to do this like top secret covert mission. The action is ridiculously over the top, incredible.
Awesome.
John Woo?
No, it's a Korean. I'm blanking on the director's name. I'll look it up.
I'm looking at here. Carter, 2022.
Carter, 2022.
Love it.
Watch this one and then go back and watch the villain as Jong Byung-gil. That's the guy's name.
I'm in on that. I have been
really
for
cool.
years. The only 2 series in my life that I wish I could replace are Buffy the Vampire series, Vampire Slayer, and Alias. I loved Alias. And then if the exact kind of movie that I want to watch right now that is not like the opposite of Game of Thrones is like Battle Los Angeles. Just indulge my military fetish and blow up a lot of aliens.
Okay,
That's all I care about.
The first one, because you said Buffy, I definitely feel like you need to see Paper Girls on Amazon, which is a graphic novel series adaptation about a group of, there are a bunch of paper girls in 1988, like literally newspaper delivery girls, and then they get sucked into a time vortex and end up getting like caught in the midst of a feud between groups of time travelers. But a lot of it ends up taking place in the present day because they time travel here from the 80s and meet their like adult selves. Ali Wong plays one of them grown up.
You know what's
Amazing.
interesting? I remember this as a graphic novel because I went on Amazon. I did some searches for great graphic novels for teen girls or whatever. Good. And this came up. And so what I did was for my daughters, I just bought like 20 of the best graphic novels for girls, put them on a shelf in the house, and I never said anything, Molly. I just let them sit there.
They just appeared.
And then every now and then I find one of my daughters reading one of them.
This was written by Brian K. Vaughan, who also did Why the Last Man, which was a fun series that never sort of got its own time. So this is a different one of his books that's now getting adapted. But Amazon did a great job. It's really fun. The other one, I haven't gotten to watch this yet, but I really want to. There is a German period action series called Cleo, Kleo. And it is about a former East German spy, and it's set right after the fall of the Berlin Wall, and she's basically she's been in prison, and she's basically let go from prison because there is no more East Germany. And so she just goes on this path of revenge for everybody who wronged her during the Cold War. That sounds super fun.
You really get me, Lon. I cannot wait to watch that.
Yeah.
Wow, here's Cleo. This is like why I'm like such good friends with Lon, because I can use him for great suggestions.
Cleo, you know what I wish somebody would remake actually on that note is Counterpart. Like if I could just have one campaign, it would be like, please pick up Counterpart.
The creator follows me on Twitter now because we kept praising it on this show.
Oh my God, tweet him. It was so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Thanks, Lon. We'll see you next time.
Lon, you're the best.
Everybody follow twitter.com/Lons.
See you guys. Thanks.
All right, Molly, what an amazing week we've had thus far. 2 days left we got to get through. You got a big Friday show. Remember, OK Boomer coming. And then, of course, Sunday, we'll have VC Sunday School and a great climate interview.
Yeah, as always, it's going to be amazing. Stay tuned for that. And we've got, news, founder interviews, OK Boomer, and see you tomorrow.
All right. And follow us on the Twitter, Lons, Mollywood, Jason, TWI Startups.
Bye.
Bye-bye.